Hello, and welcome to the Ethics at the Workplace podcast. I'm Julia, and I'm joined here by Rebecca. Today we'll be discussing a very nuanced topic that's pretty personal to both of us as women of color in a predominantly white male-dominated industry.
Thank you, Julia. So let's kick us off with three letters that have been taking the nation by storm in recent decades. DEI, or Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. This is a framework used by organizations to promote their fair treatment of underrepresented individuals in the workplace. Over the years, more and more businesses are taking such initiatives, but our main focus today is to look into how some businesses are being performative in their activism. Julia,
a diversity recruiting event here at Keenan Flagler for a large, well-known bank. And when I was talking to the recruiter, who was a black man, he actually said that it was pretty annoying how he was essentially told by his superior to make a presentation and present on the amazing DEI at his company, while all of his white colleagues didn't have to do the extra work that he did, simply because of the color of his skin. Seems pretty ironic, right?
Yeah, it's almost like when a predominantly white university chases down a group of diverse friends on campus to photograph and plaster on the front of their website. And then you show up to orientation, and it's like, where are the Asian people?
Exactly. These companies are the same. While performative activism feels intuitively wrong, it's also unethical from two different normative ethics perspectives.
So let's start with Kant. Kant's categorical imperative points out that one should always treat other humans not as means, but as ends in themselves. Kant would definitely disapprove of any such act, where people are used as means to the company's profitability or reputational objectives. When we zoomed into Julia's example of interacting with a black recruiter, he was burdened into presenting for the company on his DEI. Of course, one may think he would be happy to support his own cause, but when you think about it, he was actually coerced into this role by his superior simply because he identifies as a minority individual. And a lot of the time, their non-minority co-workers and superiors did little to no work to actively support these DEI goals. The company's achievements in DEI greatly thanks to his own hard work. And now, his achievements are being leveraged as a marketing tool for the company to appear great. This action of insincerity parallels what Kant would phrase it as treating the employees as means rather than ends.
That totally makes sense. And Aristotle's virtue ethics would also confirm this from a different angle. Aristotle argued that moral virtues are means between two corresponding vices, one of excess and one of deficiency. There are two main vices that come to my mind when companies become complacent with their activism. First, rather than being industrious, they're being lazy. To these companies, DEI is just another checkbox. They delegate the responsibility to the only black woman at the company to host a workshop just because they're too lazy to do the research, change hiring practices, and advocate themselves. Secondly, rather than being generous, they're being stingy. Like you said, they're using employees as a tool to make more profit, but they aren't properly investing time and money into changing the culture as a whole. This isn't like starting a baseball club at your workplace. It's literally people trying to make sure their voice matters. And we're talking about human rights. Not being willing to spend a larger investment on promoting genuine DEI in order to save your shareholders' money is being stingy. And according to Aristotle, refusing to improve upon these vices would be unethical with regard to one's character.
Yeah, as we can see, whether it be from Kant's lens of categorical imperative or Aristotle's lens of virtue ethics, both will agree that performative DEI is, in fact, unethical. Even though it is obvious at first, it's imperative for companies and business leaders to look within their own practices to determine whether they are perpetuators of performative DEI.
Yeah, and as a company leader, you should be asking yourself, is my company really diverse and inclusive, or are we just trying extra hard to make it look that way?